The forest was serene, filled with birdsong and gentle breezes swaying the trees in harmonious rhythm. Beneath a sprawling banyan tree, Buddha addressed his disciples, his voice calm yet resonant, carrying a profound sense of purpose. Buddha began, "Let me tell you the story of two farmers, Harsha and Amara, both seeking prosperity through labor. Harsha tilled his field with mindful dedication, attending to every detail with unwavering focus and intent. Amara, too, worked hard, his hands calloused and muscles taut from endless toil under the sun. Despite their equal effort, their outcomes were vastly different, raising the question of fortune's role in success. I feel without it, I cannot strive, cannot move forward, cannot succeed in my journey," he replied earnestly. Buddha smiled gently, his voice carrying the weight of timeless wisdom. One must weave wisdom into their labor. Harsha understood the rhythm of nature, observing the sunrise and sunset to time his actions with the earth's needs. He watered his crops in the cool morning, allowing the moisture to seep into the soil deeply. He studied the winds and built barriers to protect his plants from gusts that could uproot them. Buddha continued, his voice steady and deliberate. "A man chasing the horizon believes he will reach it if he runs far enough. But does he? Master," Ananda answered, his gaze fixed on Buddha, the realization dawning upon him like the first rays of sunrise. "In the same way," Buddha said, "chasing motivation is like chasing the horizon." Despite his labor, his fields bore little fruit, leaving him disheartened and questioning his destiny. "Amara came to me seeking answers," Buddha said, his voice carrying compassion and wisdom. He asked, "Why does Harsha's effort yield abundance while mine results in scarcity? Is fortune so arbitrary in its favor?" Buddha's gaze softened as he recalled his response to Amara. "Fortune is neither arbitrary nor elusive. It favors those who align their actions with wisdom, understanding, and mindfulness." He turned to his disciples, each hanging on his every word, their minds weaving the story's lessons into their own lives. Effort, devoid of awareness and adaptability, becomes a wheel spinning in mud, expending energy without progress. Buddha leaned forward, his voice lowering, drawing his disciples deeper into the moment. "The world speaks to us through subtle cues and rhythms, guiding us to harmony if we only choose to listen." He recounted how he taught Amara the art of mindfulness, urging him to observe and adapt his actions to the environment's needs. Amara began to water his crops at dawn, nurturing the soil before the sun stole its moisture. He learned to test the earth, planting his seeds in fertile ground where they could flourish. "Consider the river," Buddha said, gesturing toward the distant sound of water flowing steadily through the forest. "It moves not because it desires to, but because of the forces that guide it. Fortune, my dear disciples," Buddha concluded, "is not a gift bestowed by chance. It is the natural outcome of mindful effort and alignment." "So, Master," he asked, "should I surrender to the forces that move me, like the river does?" Buddha's smile widened, his approval evident in his eyes. "Not surrender," he said, "but understand and harmonize with these forces." The disciples leaned forward, eager to grasp the essence of Buddha's teachings. Ananda, too, felt a newfound curiosity blooming within him. Awareness is the foundation of wisdom. He instructed his disciples to find silence within themselves, to listen to the whispers of the world around them. The wind rustled the leaves above, a gentle reminder of the impermanence of all things, including the moment they shared. Ananda raised his hand, his voice steady but tinged with uncertainty. "Habits form the threads that weave the tapestry of our lives," Buddha explained, "and mindfulness guides their creation." The disciples exchanged glances, their hearts ignited with purpose, inspired to embrace the teachings Buddha shared so generously. It requires kindling, a steady hand, and perseverance. In the same way, Buddha continued, your habits require nurturing through small, consistent actions, even in the absence of desire. His fields are not merely land but a living partner in the dance of creation and sustenance. Buddha explained, the air around the banyan tree grew still, as if the world held its breath, absorbing the wisdom emanating from Buddha's words. Not through force, but through patience and persistence, the pebble fell softly to the ground. A quiet yet profound demonstration of the principle Buddha had just shared. The mechanisms of your mind, Buddha said, are like the river carving through rock. They move with or without your will. Recognize these mechanisms, he advised, and use them as tools to carry you forward, not as burdens to bear. Ananda's eyes shone with a mixture of gratitude and understanding. His heart lighter than when he had first spoken. Buddha's voice rose slightly, addressing the entire gathering. Do not seek motivation, he said, for it is a mirage. Seek instead the wisdom of understanding your mind. The disciples bowed their heads, their hearts filled with the profound simplicity of Buddha's words. Each step you take, Buddha concluded, is the path. Walk it with intention, and the journey will unfold before you. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden glow over the monastery as Buddha's teachings echoed in their minds. The disciples sat in quiet reflection, the truths they had learned sinking deep into their souls like seeds in fertile soil. The forest resonated with the hum of life, a natural symphony, as Buddha began his teaching with a calm demeanor. My dear disciples, Buddha said, today, we explore fortune's hidden threads and the unseen forces connecting actions to their consequences. He paused, surveying their attentive faces, before sharing the story of Sarathi, a merchant who sought fortune in his endeavors. Sarathi embarked on a journey across a treacherous desert, leading a caravan laden with precious goods and ambitious dreams. Among them sat Maha, a merchant weighed down by despair, his gaze fixed on the ground before him. Master, Maha began, his voice trembling, I have lost my way. Within the cave, he encountered an elderly sage meditating amidst the desolation, radiating an aura of serenity and wisdom. The sage spoke, his voice gentle yet penetrating. Traveler, before you proceed, reflect on your life. Maha, Buddha said softly, why do you believe your strength depends on the will that falters like the flicker of a flame? Maha raised his head, confusion clouding his expression. Master, I thought motivation was the axle upon which the wheel of life turns, he replied earnestly. Buddha smiled gently, his voice steady as the flow of the river nearby. The wheel of life, he began, does not turn on the axle of motivation, but on the gears within. The disciples murmured quietly, their interest piqued by the profound metaphor. Buddha continued, his tone deliberate, you, Maha, have bound your strength to something impermanent, as a house built on shifting sands cannot stand. But, Master, Maha asked, if motivation is not the axle, then what drives the wheel forward? Buddha gestured toward the riverbank, where the water flowed steadily over time-worn stones. The river flows, he explained, not because it chooses to, but because of gravity and the passage of time. Maha's brow furrowed, his thoughts grappling with the depth of Buddha's words. His caravan reached its destination, not only with goods intact but also with newfound allies and opportunities awaiting. Fortune, Buddha said, is not a random occurrence but the result of choices that resonate with the universe's inherent harmony. He emphasized the importance of fostering goodwill and gratitude as fundamental habits that attract positive outcomes. One disciple raised his hand and asked, Master, how can we ensure our actions align with these invisible threads of fortune and harmony? Buddha smiled, acknowledging the disciple's earnest desire to deepen his understanding and practice of the Teachings. Begin by recognizing the interdependence of all existence, Buddha replied, and act with an open heart, free from selfish desires. He encouraged his disciples to express gratitude daily, for even the smallest blessings, nurturing an attitude of abundance and humility. Gratitude is a bridge, Buddha explained, connecting us to the source of fortune, transforming every interaction into an opportunity for growth. He also urged his disciples to practice kindness, not as a duty, but as a natural expression of their inner compassion. Kindness creates ripples, Buddha said, reaching far beyond their origin, influencing unseen realms and paving the way for future blessings. He reminded them that true fortune arises from alignment with noble intentions, rather than the pursuit of fleeting rewards. This stone, he said, did not become smooth in a single moment. It was shaped by countless drops over time. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues across the forest, the banyan tree stood as a silent witness. The disciples bowed in reverence, their spirits invigorated by the teachings that illuminated their path toward a life of fortune and purpose. Buddha concluded, the invisible threads of fortune connect us all, woven through acts of gratitude, kindness, and mindful living. He stood and began to walk away, his presence radiating serenity. As the disciples remained, contemplating the teachings with newfound clarity. The river does not question its course, Buddha continued. It moves forward, trusting in the forces that guide it. The atmosphere carried a sense of anticipation, each disciple eager to absorb wisdom that would guide their lives with purpose. My dear disciples, Buddha began, today, we shall explore the habits that harmonize our actions and attract fortune into our lives. His voice resonated with clarity, drawing every mind and heart into the sacred moment of learning and introspection. Buddha shared the story of Chanda, a potter whose artistry transformed her modest life into one filled with joy and gratitude. Chanda began each day with meditation, focusing her intentions and aligning her work with a sense of higher purpose. Her hands shaped clay vessels with care, her mind undistracted by fleeting thoughts or external chaos. Remember, Buddha said, that the wheel turns not by fleeting sparks, but by the quiet endurance of steady effort. His voice softened, carrying the weight of timeless truths to the ears of those seeking understanding. A merchant once approached Chanda, seeking vessels for his trade, and marveled at her craftsmanship and serene demeanor. What makes your pottery so exquisite? He asked, captivated by her unassuming yet profound presence. The same is true of your actions, he continued. Each small, deliberate step builds the path that carries you forward. Buddha turned to his disciples and said, fortune favored Chanda not because of coincidence but because her habits aligned with noble intentions and unwavering focus. He emphasized the importance of purpose-driven actions, urging his disciples to infuse their efforts with meaning and care. Buddha explained that Chanda avoided distractions, dedicating herself fully to her craft and honoring the work as a sacred expression. Her discipline created an environment where fortune flourished, her habits reinforcing the harmony she cultivated within and around herself. Flow like the river, guided by purpose, shaped by patience, and sustained by discipline. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts filled with the profound teachings they had received beneath the Bodhi tree. He advised his disciples to eliminate distractions and cultivate habits that foster mindfulness, discipline, and alignment with their deeper aspirations. Consider each action as a thread in the tapestry of your life, Buddha continued, weaving together a narrative of purpose and resonance. He urged them to approach their work with gratitude, viewing it as an opportunity to contribute to the well-being of others. Gratitude transforms mundane tasks into sacred rituals, Buddha said, creating a foundation for habits that attract fortune and nurture harmony. He encouraged his disciples to practice mindfulness in their efforts, recognizing the interconnectedness of their actions and their outcomes. Fortune does not arise from chaotic or haphazard actions, Buddha explained, but from disciplined and intentional choices that reflect the values we hold dear. He reminded them that persistence and consistency were essential to cultivating habits of harmony and attracting favorable results. The disciples nodded in agreement, their minds absorbing the profound wisdom of Buddha's teachings and their spirits ignited with purpose. The disciples gathered once more beneath the Bodhi tree, their hearts open to the wisdom Buddha would share. Among them sat Sarva, an artist whose spirit felt tethered by the elusive fire of inspiration. Her story teaches us that fortune is not merely luck but the natural consequence of alignment and dedication. One disciple hesitantly asked, "Master, what if we struggle to maintain these habits or lose sight of our purpose amidst life's distractions?" Buddha's gaze softened, his voice carrying reassurance as he addressed the disciples' concerns with compassion and wisdom. "Struggles are natural," Buddha replied, "but they offer opportunities to strengthen your resolve and recommit to the habits that serve your purpose." He encouraged his disciples to practice patience and self-forgiveness, viewing challenges as stepping stones to growth and understanding. "Reflect on your intentions," Buddha said, "and renew your commitment daily, for consistency is key to cultivating habits that attract fortune." He reminded them to seek guidance from their inner wisdom, staying true to their values and aspirations even in adversity. As the sun set, casting golden rays across the forest, Buddha stood, his presence radiating serenity and strength. The disciples bowed in reverence, their spirits uplifted and resolved to embrace the teachings and integrate the habits of harmony. Buddha continued, his tone measured and calm. "Do you see, Sarva, that waiting for fire leaves you in darkness? The moon moves, even without the sun's light." Sarva looked up, his curiosity piqued by Buddha's metaphor, his mind stirring with questions. Buddha rose slowly, leading the disciples to a clearing where the moon hung low over the horizon. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.